So far we've machined out the right-hand side of the car. So obviously we need to machine the other side of the car. So what we're going to do is right-click on where it says Right Setup and hit Duplicate. So there's no point recreating all of these little steps. We're just going to duplicate this and we'll flip it. So where it says Right Setup 2, we're going to change this to Left Setup and enter. And I'm going to double click on where it says Left Setup, and we'll need to change that work coordinate system. So I'll zoom right in. You got that Z axis, which is pointing upwards. So what we told was upwards. We want to flip that. So we'll hit where it says Flip Z, so it points downwards. Now, if your X-axis flips for any reason, you'll need to flip it back again so it's pointing away from the car. But all we want to move is that Z-axis so it's facing the other way around. Nothing else needs to be changed. The models are still the same, the fixtures are still the same, the stock is still the same. So everything else remains the same. We just want to flip the Z-axis and only the Z-axis. Hit OK. And then, again, these toolpaths for each of these operations will need to be regenerated. So right-click on Left Setup, hit Generate, and it will redo those calculations for the left-hand side. Give it a few seconds while it generates those toolpaths. As I said, the adaptive is a little bit longer than all the other ones. And we're very nearly done. So we can go to Simulate again, and we just want to run a simulation. You can run it as fast as you like for this exercise. The faster you run it, the more it's going to glitch out. But for us, it doesn't really matter. We know what it's going to look, well, hopefully we'll have some idea what it's going to look like. We just want to make sure that there's no errors which are popping up throughout here. Now, one thing that very commonly happens is at the start of the scallop process, we might get a rapid collision with stock just as it comes in and maybe hits a wing or something like that. If you're getting that, usually it's all right, but do double check with me before you finish up the process. So if you get one little error, sometimes that's all right. Sometimes you'll get it in tight spaces where the tool's hitting a part where it shouldn't. Well, it thinks it shouldn't. So you just need to just double check if there's any errors. But okay, so the graphics card catch up. There's our car. It should look exactly like what we've asked for. Now, this front end will usually be a little bit problematic because it's such a tight space for everything in there. But that gets cut off and gets hand sanded anyway soon. So that looks all good to go. Now, there is one thing we need to change, and that is once we've post-processed our code, because the machine doesn't know it needs to turn this block around midway through the project. So when we put it in so the right-hand side is facing upwards. We need to tell it to turn around to the left-hand side. And we have to do that after in the code itself. So I'll go through the steps for how to do that next.